A recent report ranks Louisiana's auto insurance rates as the highest in the South. Residents pay on average $500 more than people in other states. This week, I'm kicking off a three-part series, Driving into Debt, which takes a deep dive into the causes, concerns, and solutions to the auto insurance crisis. Here's the first report, looking at what's driving up consumer cost.
That was before the accident, $1,596. And then when I got my policy renewal, I saw that it went up to $2,867 for a 6 months policy on 2 vehicles.
Kristen Coogan, married mother of 4, rear-ended an uninsured motorist.
No paramedics were called. There was no sign of emergency or dire need of medical attention. So, I had no idea that would have been coming.
Months later, Kristen found out the driver and passenger both made bodily injury claims on her auto insurance.
I had no idea that my insurance was, in litigation with the passenger's attorney, I guess, and that they were going for my policy limit, $50,000 for bodily injury. Obviously, I was shocked when Andrea told me, the payout was $46,000, which obviously explained why my premium almost doubled.
Do you feel taken advantage of?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Andrea Allen is Kristen's new insurance agent. She found Kristen a more affordable policy after the accident.
Unfortunately, the person that she rear-ended, which was really just a little bit of a bumper tap, did not have any auto insurance. So again, going back to the no pay, no play, that in and of itself, in my opinion, should have just stopped. It should have stopped the claim and any type of potential litigation at all.
I think that, if you are not paying into the system, you should not be able to receive payouts.
According to the Insurance Research Council in testimony before the Louisiana House Insurance Committee, 14% of motorists in Louisiana are uninsured, which tracks the national average. However, Louisiana has one of the highest rates of underinsured motorists, meaning their limits of coverage are not sufficient to make a person whole after an accident.
Unfortunately, on that one, Louisiana stands out as the 4th worst in the country. In Louisiana, that was in excess of 35%, so more than twice the countrywide average. So underinsurance certainly was a concerning point for your state.
A recent report released by Leaders for a Better Louisiana found that although Louisiana drivers pay an average of $500 more than the average policyholder nationwide, it's not because of bad roads or a disproportionate amount of fatal accidents compared to other states.
The amount of bodily injury claims and the amount of litigation per insured, person in the state were the 2 biggest outliers.
The report found that Louisiana has 3 times more bodily injury claims than the U.S. average, often resulting in lawsuits to pay for medical bills and pain and suffering.
Senator Luno, you are a practicing attorney and you engage in auto insurance litigation. What do you think are the root causes of auto insurance rates being so high in Louisiana?
Well, because we've allowed them to, unfortunately. We have very little regulation of insurance industry in Louisiana, and insurance companies make a lot of money here. What we've been trying to do for the last 40 or so years is tort reform, and that hasn't worked a single time. And so it's time that we try something different, in my opinion.
Lawmakers convene on April 14th for the regular legislative session with insurance reform as a major issue on the agenda.
Medical utilization dramatically higher as well. You're close to 50% higher than countrywide. So this is speaking to the number of times people are going and getting MRIs, going and visiting chiropractors, significantly more utilization after those higher quantity bodily injury claims are being made.
One of those things to do would be to bring what is the usual customary cost of medical treatment into the claims process and being transparent about what that is and not inflating that claim. And that would certainly help lower rates in Louisiana and would bring carriers to Louisiana.
Insurance reform calling for transparency in medical bills would inform jurors of the actual or customary cost of medical services and treatments.
So they'll not only see the inflated invoices, but they'll actually hear this is the amount that would actually be paid on this.
In the legal profession, there is an entire industry built on litigation finance, where companies purchase proposed medical payments in a lawsuit after paying the medical provider at a lower rate. The profit is in the difference between the inflated bill and the actual bill.
A lot of times it's sold to a litigation finance group. The litigation finance group in turn will pay the facility or the doctor whatever the going rate is. So if it's a litigation finance company, who's involved? The jury should have a right to know who's going to get this money when it's distributed.
The high rate of bodily injury claims and litigation in Louisiana are red flags to insurance companies and contribute to a less than competitive marketplace.
But just like everything else, if you don't have competition, then they're going to drive the prices up. So that, to me, is the biggest challenge, is we just don't have enough companies that are willing or able to come into the market and write business here.
Do you personally struggle with finding affordable coverage for your clients?
There's no doubt about that. With the limited number of carriers that we have, I'm certain that in many instances, as rates are going up, folks are having to cut corners, do without elsewhere.
And what can we do differently?
Well, one thing is we can put some regulation in place that makes sense. I disagreed with the commissioner when the first act he did as commissioner was to remove the rules that said insurance companies can't charge excessive rates. I thought that was a big mistake because we know now that the loss ratio in Louisiana is one of the lowest in the South, which means that insurance companies are profitable when their loss ratio is low. There are other things that we can do. We could give the insurance commissioner more power to regulate the industry, to look at specific things like how insurance companies set their rates. One of the things that's very controversial in Louisiana is almost all insurance companies use credit ratings and credit scoring.
Kristen is hoping lawmakers give serious consideration to no pay, no play legislation she believes will help countless Louisiana households detour from driving into debt because of high auto insurance premiums.
I don't know all the rules and all the legal ins and outs of everything, but to me it's ridiculous and it's fraudulent.